Hi. Executive producer Robert Singer.
Wow.
So, Robert,
Yes,
what can the fans expect for season 12?
that's a broad question. Well, I think, like we said in the panel, we don't have a the Uber story is not quite as Uber as last year's. I don't know how you get bigger than God and the end of the earth. So it's a little more personal stories this year. The British Men of Letters will play a big part in the season. The Hunt for Lucifer is big in the first half of the season. But we're trying to go back, I think, a little more to our roots, tell sort of interesting standalones with good monsters, and and it's always about the boys and how they react to anything, and
Will their
what they're
relationships kind of take a spin this year, or?
Well, this is going to be sort of the first year where they are generally of a like mind. I mean, one thing we've done in the past couple of years is that they've had different takes on things and how to go about the business and what each one should do. This year, they have a common purpose. Now, as that evolves over the season, I'm sure they'll have their disagreements and what to do. But it's a little more. They're in this together and of one mind.
Are we going to see the boys unite with the British Men of Letters?
Well, I can't give away a lot, but as the British Men of Letters starts to realize the way, in other words, the British Men of Letters are very organized, right? There's a way that they have gone about their business, and that's the way they think it should be. Much different than the American hunters, who are all sort of free agents, and they just follow their own noses, and that's very antithetical to the way the British Men of Letters work. So before too long, there's going to be a clashing of the heads there.
When you're looking at planning out a season, how much of that season is generally an overarching story, and how many episodes do you usually plan to be just single episode nuggets?
Well, we kind of start out with a plan, and certainly for maybe the first, I would say, 13, 14 episodes, we know which ones are going to be mythological episodes and which will be standalones. As the myth progresses and we get kind of deeper into the season, where we would say at the beginning of the year, okay, well, 17 will be a standalone, 18, 19 will be myth, 19, 20 standalone. Sometimes the story, the weight of the myth starts to take over a little bit, and you say, well, maybe we'll broom one of the standalones and do episode 21 as a myth. So I would say for like the first 13, 14, we know pretty much what we're doing. After that, it's a little more fluid.
You said that the boys were going to be more of like of the same mind, and that was this last season. I think some of that was made prevalent with them not really keeping secrets from one another and kind of really communicating more with one another. In terms of a storytelling aspect, what do you think the advantages of that were, and how is that going to progress maybe into the next season?
Well, it's a fine line, and even last year where they sort of knew, where they were more honest with each other and the secrets, went away. The methodology of what each guy thought was the best way to go was really, that's where they would kind of knock heads a little bit. So it's a fine line to walk, because one thing that's always played for us is the struggle between them. And we certainly don't want to lose that, and that kind of makes for good character stuff. So there's always comes a point where Sam is willing to sacrifice himself, and Dean doesn't want him to do that, or Dean feels that he should go right into the lion's den. I mean, if you look at last year where he goes in with the bomb at the end, everybody, Sam and Castiel and everybody thought, well, that was probably going to be the end of Dean. As it turned out, surprisingly, it wasn't. But, so it's the methodology that, but this year we start them not out here, but right here.
So with 12...
And of course, you can't see that when you write these things, that I went like that.
So with 12 seasons, How much more of Supernatural can we expect?
Well, if you would have asked me, say in season 3 or 4, if somebody would have said, you're going to go 12 years, I don't think so. Eric Kripke he always said anyway to the press he had a 5-year plan. He never had a 5-year plan. But for him, he thought we're about as far as we could go with this. So God only knows. The guys are still excited about doing it. They enjoy coming to work. I've been through, Andrew is my 4th head writer that I've worked with. But, as long as we can keep it fresh, we think that it remains fresh. Who knows? In my mind, I've sort of left the show 3 or 4 times, but it, sort of pulls me back in, and I get excited all over again.
Now with the return
Sorry.
of... Oh, I'm sorry.
So sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.